The NFL draft is rapidly approaching. I uploaded my first mock draft, but in that video, I said I wanted to do two. And in this one, this is more of me trying to predict how things will go on Thursday versus my first mock draft that was just based on vibes. Obviously, a lot can change in a short time, and now all of a sudden we have a giant shakeup in the top 10. But without further ado, let's get into this. With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. Ain't nothing changed. Mendoza is still going first overall unless he commits a felony between now and the draft. With the second overall pick, the New York Jets select David Bailey, defensive end, Texas Tech. I've gone back and forth on this one. David Bailey and Arvel Reese are both fantastic players, but Bailey is a true defensive end, whereas we still don't know if Reese can be a full time outside linebacker. With the third overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Arvel Reese, linebacker, Ohio State. Arizona probably wants to trade out of this pick so they can have a late first round selection to select Ty Simpson, but unless they lower their asking price for pick 3 so a team like Kansas City or Dallas can trade up, Arizona should just take the best defensive player available. With the fourth overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love is the best offensive player in this draft, and the only knock on him is the position he plays. If Tennessee is serious about helping Cam Ward out, Love is the right selection right now. With the fifth pick, the New York Giants select Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. The Giants are now in a very fascinating position. With two top 10 picks, they can address two serious needs. With a young quarterback, I always favor prioritizing offense when you get the chance, which is why I went with Carnell Tate here. With the sixth pick, the Cleveland Browns trade to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys select Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. Ironically, New York getting a second top 10 pick screwed Dallas more than anyone, because now New York has two chances to take the player Dallas wants. Cleveland is always looking to trade down, and Jerry Jones is always looking to trade up, and Sonny Styles is exactly the kind of player the Cowboys defense needs. With the seventh overall pick, the Washington Commanders select Makai Lemon, wide receiver, USC. Washington desperately needs a receiver. I decided to go with Lemon just because I don't know what Jordan Tyson's medicals look like. Lemon isn't too far of a step down from Tyson as a prospect, and he has a much cleaner bill of health. With the eighth pick, the New Orleans Saints select Mansour Delane, defensive back, LSU. Selecting an LSU cornerback is always a good idea. The Saints are on the upswing, and getting Delane would be a huge piece for their defense. With the ninth overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Ruben Bain, defensive end, Miami. Ruben Bain is a tough player to mock. With all the things coming out, he could genuinely fall out of the top 10. However, I imagine most teams already knew about the incident and are doing their due diligence, so assuming he doesn't slide, Kansas City could really use his dynamic pass rushing ability. With the 10th overall pick, the New York Giants select Caleb Downs, defensive back, Ohio State. Trading Dexter Lawrence lands the Giants a top 10 pick, and the freedom to do whatever they want with their fifth overall pick and still grab another position of need. Harbaugh had much success with Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore, and Caleb Downs is the best safety prospect we've seen since Kyle Hamilton. With the 11th overall pick, the Miami Dolphins select Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle, Miami. Miami needs a little bit of everything, but I'd like to think this new Dolphins regime is smart enough to understand their offensive line really sucks. With the 12th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. Cleveland was the only team who met with Tyson before his pro day. They were in on him no matter what his medicals said. The Browns desperately need receiver help, and hopefully Tyson can stay healthy. With the 13th pick, the New York Jets trade up to select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana. New York is currently sitting behind a lot of teams that could draft a receiver. If they want to get the receiver they want, they'll probably have to trade up and get him. With the 14th pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon. Baltimore just needs to add pass catchers. Wide receiver is an option, but Kenyon Sadiq offers a perfect replacement to Isaiah Likely and a much needed successor to Mark Andrews, who's 30 and on the decline. With the 15th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Jermod McCoy, defensive back, Tennessee. Tampa's biggest need is edge rusher, but with Bailey and Bain most likely being off the board, there really isn't another edge rusher that wouldn't be a reach at this spot. McCoy has some injury history, but without the injury, there's a real conversation to be had that he's CB1 in this draft class. With the 16th pick, the Los Angeles Rams select KC Conception, wide receiver, Texas A&M. I still believe the Rams will go receiver with their first pick. It's just a matter of which receiver falls to them and which receiver they're comfortable taking if the big names are already off the board. With the 17th pick, the Detroit Lions select Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. Detroit is built on their dominance in the trenches, and I hope they continue to prioritize that. With the 18th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Dylan Thieneman, safety, Oregon. Minnesota desperately needs secondary help, especially at safety. It's just a matter of when they want to address it. With the 19th pick, the Carolina Panthers select Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, Georgia. Carolina is in an interesting spot here. Ikem Ekwonu is going to miss some time in the 2026 season, and even though they signed Rasheed Walker, it's only a 1 year deal, and Carolina is still lacking that depth at the tackle position. With the 20th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama. Cleveland could really use a stable presence at left tackle. Proctor has been linked to Cleveland for a while now. With the 21st pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Vega Ione, offensive guard, Penn State. Pittsburgh needs to invest more in their offense, especially their O line. Ione is the best interior offensive lineman in this draft, and he fills a huge hole for the Steelers. With the 22nd pick, the Miami Dolphins trade up to select Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington. Miami's receiving core is bad, really bad. If Miami doesn't take a receiver with their first pick, then they can't afford to sit back and wait for their guy to fall to them. They need to move up. With the 23rd pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Max Iananker, offensive tackle, Arizona State. Max Iananker is a project. He's not been playing football for too long, but I can already see the comparisons to Jordan Mailata with this one. With the 24th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Emmanuel McNeil Warren, safety, Toledo. Cleveland having more than one first round pick automatically makes them a quote draft winner in everybody's book, but grabbing McNeil Warren to be their safety nickel hybrid would be a nice addition to this already stout Cleveland defense. With the 25th pick, the Chicago Bears select Caden McDonald, defensive tackle, Ohio State. Chicago needs edge rusher help, but they also need interior defensive line help. Caden McDonald is the best run stopping defensive tackle in this class, and that's exactly what Chicago needs. With the 26th pick, the Arizona Cardinals trade up to select Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama. Words I'd never thought I'd hear is Jacoby Brissett holding out for starting quarterback money. Yeah, okay, buddy. With the 27th pick, the San Francisco 49ers select Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle, Utah. The 49ers just extended Trent Williams, but even with that, they could still use some tackle help. With the 28th pick, the Houston Texans select Christian Miller, defensive tackle, Georgia. Houston's defense doesn't have many holes, but they don't have a game changer at defensive tackle. Christian Miller has that potential to be that for this Texans defense. With the 29th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Colton Hood, defensive back, Tennessee. Drafting Trent McDuffie's replacement won't be easy, but Kansas City kind of has to do something in the secondary. With the 30th pick, the Los Angeles Chargers select Chase Bisonantes, offensive guard, Texas A&M. Interior offensive line is the Chargers' biggest need by a long shot. They need anybody to come in, or else they'll be forced to roll with Trevor Penning and Cole Strange at guard. With the 31st pick, the New England Patriots select Zion Young, defensive end, Missouri. New England kind of got embarrassed on a national stage in the Super Bowl, so there might be some pressure to go interior offensive line here, but defensive end is just as big a need for the Patriots. With the 32nd pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Brandon Sissy, defensive back, South Carolina. Seattle lost a ton of defensive talent. They only have 4 picks in this upcoming draft, so I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to trade down, but one way or another, they'll need to get a new cornerback to pair with Devin Witherspoon. I'm so ready for the NFL draft. Let me know what you think of this mock draft and leave your draft thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you.